This is Dr. J.P. She was a name given to me by my children and those that know me because I am a minister, a teacher, and the reason for this video today is because of human trafficking. I want to read some key statistics. 2019, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children estimated that 1 in 6 endangered runaways reported to them were likely sex trafficking victims. The International Labor Organization and Walk Free Foundation, in partnership with IOM, estimated that there are 4.8 million people trapped in forced sexual exploitation globally. Globally, the International Labor Organizations and Walk Free Foundation, in partnership with IOM, estimated that there are 24.9 million people trapped in forced labor, with 16 million victims of labor trafficking in private industry. I want you to hear that. Private industry. Now, with that 4.8 million victims of sex trafficking and 4.1 million victims of state-imposed forced labor. Human trafficking occurs when a trafficker employs a person by fraud or coercion. It's definitely not by their will, okay? They're tricked one way or the other. Now, it is for profit, okay? So basically what we're talking about is modern day slavery. A person is forced by fraud or coercion, blackmail, whatever, to service another person financially. Now, with all of that said, okay, the way that they keep these people in service is violence, threats, lies, false promises, debt, bondage, or other forms of control and manipulation could keep victims involved in the sex industry for their own profit. The bottom line is trickery. It's a way to control these people. Whatever means that they can find is what they use to control these folk. Now, this is what's so shocking. The average age that a young person becomes involved in sex trafficking is 12. Now, depending on what country you're in, it could be much younger. Sex traffickers have a menu. Some of these folks are straight up child molesters, so therefore they prefer youngsters. Youngsters as young or younger than 12. Well, they're all victims of human trafficking, whether they're over 18 or under 18. They're victims. These people are being exploited by a segment of the society that finds that they're too vulnerable not to take advantage of. Okay, I would say venues that are used to market these folks: fake massage businesses, escort services, residential brothels, in public, on city streets, and in truck stops, strip clubs, hostess clubs, hotels and motels. And it could be in various different places. I've heard of renting apartments near events that are taking place. Games near stadiums is a popular place as well, because Johns are getting drunk and wanting to freak, so therefore they have apartments close by to where they can come and amuse themselves raping another human being. Intimate partner or employer. These are some of the warning signs that I'd like to um, just kind of ask you to keep an eye on. Okay, when you've got somebody that comes on very strongly and promises things that seem too good to be true, promises extremely high wages for easy work, well, you might want to question that. Um, Someone who expects that you will agree to the employment or relationship on the spot and threatens that otherwise the opportunity will be lost. Okay, you might want to question that too. Don't ever jump at an opportunity without having time to think about it, and I recommend praying about it. Okay, if you're not a prayer, at least think about it overnight. You might want to run it past your friends, family members, of the opportunity before you jump at it, especially if it's one that requires you to move to another country or another state. Um, if it's unclear about the terms of employment, location of employment, and the company details, credentials, partner employee denies access to the information about your rights. Okay. All of that is definitely questionable because whenever an employer wants to hire you, you should be able to confirm their credentials just like they confirm your credentials. If they constantly check on you and does not allow you access to your money, that is definitely a red flag. Asks you to do things outside of your comfort zone, such as performing sexual favors for friends, that is a red flag. And that should alert you that this person is prostituting you. And it is a form of abuse, and it is not a form of behavior that any employer should be requesting of you. Okay? Now, displays signs, characteristics of a dangerous person, including attempts to control movements and behavior, exhibits jealousy, lashes out or delivers punishment in response to non-compliance, is verbally, emotionally, and it's also physically abusive. It should never be tolerated. Okay. It's not acceptable behavior. It is not an expression of love. It is an expression of contempt. That person obviously has issues, and these issues should not involve you. If the person uses threat or displays of violence to create a culture of fear, basically, if this person is created an atmosphere that you're not comfortable with, then chances are that is a red flag, that this is not a healthy situation and should be avoided at all costs. Now, there was some more red flags. Okay, for those people that might be witnessing this type of situation. Okay, if these are key flags that should alert you that this may be a trafficking situation and it should be reported to the police. If these people are living with an employer, they're living under poor living conditions, multiple people are in a cramped space, inability to speak to individuals alone, answers appear to be scripted and rehearsed, employer is holding identity documents, if there's actually signs of physical abuse or mental abuse, okay, um, submissive or fearful, unpaid or paid very little. If this person is under 18 and in prostitution, And I think we should also keep our eyes on 18-year-olds as well, because this person could have been brought into prostitution when they were under 18. Now they are 18 and still being prostituted. So, therefore, those are all signs that we should be looking for. The only thing is, once they turn 18, they could say that this is something they agree to and this person would be protected. That may not be the case though. Now, I want to say that some other flags are a person that works long, excessive hours, always working, and they're on demand. Yeah, if they're getting paid time and a half and all of this and have a good wage, it may be something that not to be concerned about. But if they're living in a substandard condition, yeah, something is wrong with that. That's a red flag and should be questioned. Also, one of the things that you might want to just notice, especially parents, you have children in school, if they have a classmate that's just overly sexual, or this little friend that's overly sexual, well, that is a flag, okay? Because if this little 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 year old is overly sexual, somebody has um, introduced this child to sex. So, and it may be one of those situations where they are in the process of grooming your child to join this child. So don't assume that because it's not your child, that may not be a red flag for you. It could very well be a red flag for you as well as a parent. Noticing what's going on with this child could possibly save the child's life, but it also may save your child or other children being groomed uh, to for human trafficking. Now, multiple phones, or I think a lot of times we take for granted that people, oh, they just have multiple phones. Why? Everybody has an agenda. Everybody has a reason. What would be their reason for having multiple phones or social media accounts? Normally, when somebody's doing all that, a legitimate business or an illegitimate business. Could be drugs, uh, could be gang related, could be a lot of things. Okay. But it is definitely something that we need to question. And if you are on social media with these people, which I think I'm dealing with it a little later on, but you may want to block them. How do traffickers choose their victims? That's a good one. Traffickers, they're skilled at identifying people that they notice that are vulnerable, that have needs. May need friends, they may need money, they may need a place to stay, but it's a vulnerability that they spot and they swoop in and take advantage of. Um, they look for these young girls and young boys with low self esteem, and that they can flatter them and win them over as their friend, and began to groom them to be their friend, to trust them so that they can be uh, taken away. I'm going to give you the national hotline for human trafficking. I want to give you that number, and I'm probably going to give it to you a couple of times during this video. 1-888-373-7888. They have a TTY of 711, and a text 233733. If you notice that a person is appearing malnourished, If they're showing signs of physical injuries and abuse, if they're avoiding eye contact, social interaction, and authority figures, if they avoid law enforcement. Okay. These are some red flags. Okay. If they're seeming to adhere to some type of script, somebody has told them what to say, and they're careful not to say anything more. Okay, they've been rehearsed on how to react uh, uh, when they're amongst other people. Okay, if they lack their documentation, many times what folks do is they take the person's, say they're from another country, their passport, they take their driver's license, they take whatever they can from these people to make them feel like they have no choice but to depend on this person. It's a form of abuse, okay? Abusers, whether they're spousal abuse or domestic abuse, abuse is abuse. And the process is the same for abuse. You make someone feel dependent, uh, and then you take advantage of them. Okay. In some cases, leaving or attempting to leave a trafficking situation may increase the risk of violence. So, I'm going to give you a couple of things if you are the person in that situation, or if you know somebody that is and you'd like to help them. I want to give you a couple of things that you can look out for. Okay, if you're ever in immediate danger, the quickest way to access help is to call 911. Now, that brings me to the fact that a lot of abuse in foreign countries, especially, the law enforcement, the police may be a part of the cartel that is abusing folk. So you may not be able to call 911. In the United States, you can call 911. In a foreign country, you may want to get to the embassy. You can call law enforcement, but the one thing you definitely want to do is you want to find maybe a local organization that deals with trafficking, that is able to assist. Just keep your ears open, your eyes open, and any opportunity that you get to get away, don't let fear cause you to stay in that type of situation. Now, if you're unsure your current location, try to determine any indication of your locality, such as the street signs, the resident or place of employment, or newspapers, magazines, mail, address, the geography around where you may be. Try to look at that. It's not wise to tell your um, captor what you're doing. You do it with it back of your mind that when the opportunity comes, you're going to get away. But don't be so gullible to think that you could trust them. When I get a chance, I'm getting away. No, not wise. Okay, they will make it 10 times harder for you if you decide to tell them what your thoughts are. Now, plan an escape route or exit strategy and rehearse it in your mind before you actually do it. Keep any important documents on or near you if you can. That sounds a little bit more like domestic violence than it does human trafficking to me. Um, if you being trafficked, you may not have time to do all that. You may just have time to get yourself away uh, without being able to take clothes. So you want to think through your situation and take the best route that you can to get away from your captors. Now, you want to memorize important numbers uh, um, and hotline numbers. Um, Contact trusted friends or families to notify them or ask them for assistance if you feel comfortable. And once again, the National Human Trafficking Hotline, it is a 24-hour hotline. 888-3737. Okay. Thinking about local shelters or social services, okay, that can help you get away. Um, Now, doing violent and explosive situations, you want to avoid dangerous rooms, depending on where you're being kept. Okay. Dangerous rooms could be kitchens, uh, where there's knives, sharp utensils, garbage tools, sharp objects, bathroom, hard surfaces, no exits, basement, hard surfaces, no exits, room where weapons are kept, and rooms without an exit. Example, safer rooms will be a front room, a yard or apartment hallway where a neighbor might see or hear an incident. Um, Develop a special signal, lights flickering on and off, code word, hand signal, to use with a trusted neighbor, relative, or friend. Notify them you are in danger. Now, that might be possible if you are in a domestic situation and you actually have access to certain things. Okay. Um, don't trust this person to take you into a basement or some closed place and think that you're going to be safe. Though. Um, let somebody know what your pattern is. So therefore, someone is always keeping an eye out for you. Now, I want to do a quick overview. Okay. Trafficking for forced labor, trafficking for forced criminal activities, trafficking in women for sexual exploitation. But traffickers don't always use women, they use boys and girls. Young men can be trafficked, as even though the majority of human trafficking is women. Women double um, the fact that men are used, males are used as well. Um, Trafficking for removal of organs. That person, they're trafficking you, they're stealing you, they're kidnapping you with the intention of killing you to take your organs. Many times older people feel like, oh, ain't nobody gonna traffic me. I'm old. I can do what I want to do. I can go out at night. I can walk anywhere I want to. Well, I talk about this a little bit more on my video where I'm actually dealing with traveling safely. You have money, you are a potential candidate. You do have organs, you are a potential candidate. People that are taking advantage of another person for financial gain. So therefore, it may not always be sex. Okay, uh, they could force you to smuggle for them, criminal activities, force you to take something to another country, out of a country, to another city, to another location within a city. That's trafficking as well. Okay, let's talk about internet safety. Internet safety tips to protect yourself against human trafficking online. Set strict privacy settings so that everybody who wants to be your friend don't have access to all your other friends, okay? Because sometimes they want to be your friends so they can get to your friends, okay? Um, so that's a definite. Beware of strange friend requests. Okay, now I often get friend requests from guys, okay? I've figured out that they may take a picture of someone who looks like they're trustworthy and they will steal that person's photo and make you think that it's them talking to you when they really want to get as much information about you as possible. It could be for a sexual connection where you could actually be compromised, or financial connection again where you can actually be compromised, or to get to someone close to you where they could be compromised. So always be aware of strange friend requests. Don't overshare Be aware of advertisements that seem too good to be true. Once again, flag it, don't share it, report it. When you see something strange, report it. Okay. Don't assume that, let it go. Yeah, because the next person might not be as wise as you. They may go ahead and interact with it and actually end up themselves in trouble. Okay. Or dead. All right. Flag it, don't share it. Know the warning signs of trafficking, get help, or raise the alarm. Basically, if you suspect, okay, that this is a trafficking situation, I'm going to give you some questions to ask if you have the opportunity. Okay. Can you leave your job if you want to? Can you come and go as you please? Have you been hurt or threatened if you try to leave? Has your family been threatened? Do you live with your employer? Where do you sleep and eat? Are you in debt to your employer? Do you have your passport identification or driver's license? Who has it? There's a system. They look for vulnerable people in vulnerable situations. And these are some of the type of situations that I want to share, which puts folks in a vulnerable situation to where they could be kidnapped. Fake friends. People pretend to be your friend in order to get you away from your family and get you into situations where they can control you. Uh, Children who comes from an abusive family. Uh, I hate to use this term, but throwaway kids. Okay, they're not treated like they're loved, and so therefore they look for love. They look for friendship. They look for companionship, whether it be online or offline, and they find people who are traffickers or worse, runaway kids, children that are not happy and that leave home unprotected. They run away, they run off with people who they think are their friend and they're really not their friend. Vulnerable persons, people who need money, okay, need shelter, need a place to stay. Older persons who are lonely and are looking for companionship. Young people who are lonely and looking for companionship. Okay, this one is one that probably all of us can relate to. I like to go shopping at night. And I can go where I want to go and do what I want to do. Yes, you can. I go banking whenever I want to. Yes, you can. So I'm talking to the guys out there. Tell your wives, tell your sisters, tell your girlfriends, tell your nieces and nephews, don't be going to the bank and the grocery store at night. And especially by themselves, okay? If you ain't traveling in a group, don't do it. Okay? And if you work at night, make sure that you park in the light, and also you're not walking in and out of these buildings by yourself at night. Walking through these parking garages by yourself. Okay? Most of the time when these kidnappings take place, it's more than one person. Okay? So therefore, you have to be prepared. We're not living in a world where people are loving and kind. Okay. If you run across somebody like that in life, that's awesome. Okay. But we got more people out there that are looking for an opportunity to take advantage of somebody, not somebody that is trying to do the right thing. So, brothers, fathers, uncles, cousins, speak to your loved ones. Don't go out without protection. Travel in pairs. And ladies, carry you some mace if you're going out at night Matter of fact, if you're going out in the day, if it's dust, carry some mace. Okay. When you're going in and out of the building, have your mace in your hand. Okay. So that it's easy for you to grab. Or some weapon. If you're them ladies that know how to, if you're packing a weapon and you know what to do with it, you've been trained and you know what to do well. If you got to go in and out at night, you can have that in your hand too. And what I want to say to the relatives who like to play jokes and tricks on people, don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. Because you could get shot. Okay? Or you could get hurt. You could get maced. And quite frankly, if you're playing tricks on your loved one, you very well might. So don't do that. Okay? Life these days, it's not a game. It's not a joke. And don't be trying to scare people. Okay? That is not fun. It's not funny. Okay? I have suggested that if you suspect that there is someone that's being trafficked, there's a National Human Trafficking Hotline.org that can give you way more information than I ever could. And most states in the United States do have some type of government organization, but there's definitely a record. Okay, every state has it going on. There is not a state in the United States that is free of trafficking. So don't get the idea that, oh, that doesn't happen in my state. Yes, it does. Okay. You can find more information on the National Human Trafficking Hotline.org about what goes on in different states. Again, if you're traveling in and out of the country, you want to take extra precautions. Please look at my video where I talk about how to be safe when traveling. Once again, National Hotline, 888-373-7888. This is Dr. J.P. Like and subscribe to my channel. And let's be safe, okay? I pray that this video has helped you to understand how to not become a victim, but also how to spot those that may be a victim. If you suspect it, call 911, log into the National Human Trafficking Hotline to get a little bit more information. You may report the situation. If this is a job site and you suspect that slave labor is being used, report it. This is Dr. JP, and January is National Human Trafficking Month. And this is an opportunity to make you aware. Talk about it. Now, there is a movement this month for a blue light bulb to put outside. I always try to bring information. My ministry was Beautiful Ashes Outreach Ministry. I have changed the name. Now we are Beauty from Ashes Outreach Ministry inclusively, because we no longer minister to just women. We also have come to realize that a lot of men are survivors of abuse as well. Thank you. Like and subscribe to my channel, and have a blessed day.